Hi friends, Vivek here. This is Vivek from Bhagalpur University, Bhagalpur. मित्रों, हम सब जानते हैं कि कोविड-19 के इस काल में है। कोविड-19 के इस समय में हम सब एक मुसीबत के दौर से गुजर रहे हैं। तो अभी हम लोग डिजिटल टीचिंग और डिजिटल लर्निंग के लिए काफ़ी जद्दोजहद कर रहे हैं और होपफुली जल्द ही स्थिति सामान्य होगी और हम सब फिर से एक बार सामान्य जीवन की तरफ चल पाएंगे। आज का चर्चा का विषय है चाइनीज़ डिप्लोमेसी 1949 टू 2020। आज हम लोग चाइनीज़ डिप्लोमेसी के बारे में बात करेंगे। चाइनीज़ डिप्लोमेसी 1949 से लेके 2020 तक। अब हाल के समय में हम लोग देख रहे हैं कि अंतर्राष्ट्रीय समुदाय में ख़ासतौर पे अमेरिका और चीन के बीच फिर से एक बार ऐसा लग रहा है कि एक नए शीत युद्ध के दौर में प्रवेश कर गए हैं। बस प्लेयर चेंज हो गए हैं। पहले जहां अमेरिका और सोवियत रूस आमने सामने थे, तो अभी अमेरिका और चीन आमने सामने दिखाई पड़ रहे हैं। अब सवाल उठता है कि आखिर अमेरिका और चीन के बीच इस कोविड को लेकर के ये विवाद की स्थिति क्यों आई। तो उसके डिटेल में हम लोग नहीं जाएंगे, लेकिन सामान्य रूप से हम लोग देख रहे हैं कि चाइनीज़ डिप्लोमेसी का जो स्वरूप है, झाऊ यानी कि माओ जेडोंग के समय जो प्राइम मिनिस्टर थे, दैट इज़ प्रीमियर उस समय के, झाऊ एनलाई ने बहुत ही टैक्टफुली इंटरनेशनल इश्यूज़ को हैंडल किया था और एक बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले किया था। अब उस समय की जो चाइनीज़ डिप्लोमेसी थी, कहीं ना कहीं 1950 के दशक में 1950 के दशक 1950s ऑनवर्ड्स अगर हम लोग देखते हैं तो ये बात बिल्कुल स्पष्ट हो जाती है कि 1950s से 1997 तक, टू बी एग्जैक्ट, 1997 was the year when Deng Xiaoping died. But by 1997, China had emerged as an important power in international politics. So, what is the problem right now, particularly in 2010, the decade of 2010, and we will move further very soon in the next decade. What has gone wrong? That is a big issue. Why Chinese actually are not able to cope up with the changing situation, and why China is not in a position to defend itself. So I thought to bring a video lecture on this particular topic, why Chinese diplomacy is not successfully able to defend what the world communities are raising fingers against Chinese leadership. So at some point of time we see that China and India, these two Asian tigers, these two Asian powers, which were supposed to be the tigers of 21st century, economic tigers of 21st century. For some extent that may be true, that exceptionally China and India has done well in these last few decades. So my concern is to understand Chinese diplomacy in its historical perspective and the role played by its several diplomats. So let us start with one famous statement or comment which was made by the then president, American president Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt. This Theodore Roosevelt should not be confused with another Roosevelt, that was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Okay, so please keep in mind, this Theodore Roosevelt came earlier. It means he was 26th president of the United States, and he was the president of America for 2 times, from 1901 to 1909. So in these 2 terms, he exceptionally did very well in managing the American domestic as well as foreign relations. Later on, another president, he was the 32nd president, the name is Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And what is important or what is so significant in this Franklin F.D. Roosevelt, what is so significant here? You must remember the earlier Theodore Roosevelt, he belonged to Republican Party, and this Franklin D. Roosevelt, he belonged to Democratic Party. I need not to go into much detail about the basic ideological difference between Republican Party and Democrat Party. Without going much into that detail, what I want to focus here is F.D. Roosevelt faced several problems, not only on economic front, but also he faced problem at international relationship management also, because 2 important, or rather 2 greatest events of 20th century took place in the regime of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. One was 1933. We should remember the great economist John Maynard Keynes. He proposed the idea that American economy in general and the whole world economy, American economy in general and the whole world economy in particular should adopt the policy which should create employment, which should focus on certain social welfare measures. Then only the economies could survive. So following his prescription, F.D. Roosevelt is coming when he became the president in 1933. At the same time, he is coming with the idea of New Deal, and the New Deal was responsible, or New Deal policy is successfully contained the economic crisis, or rather that the great world economic recession of that time. And second important event, as you can guess, was the Second World War. In 1945, the World War II ends. So it is obvious that F.D. Roosevelt had to deal two greatest events of the 20th century. Though F.D. Roosevelt was also criticized on several fronts, but still scholars have put these two presidents in the category of top of the best 5 presidents of the United States till date. It means Theodore Roosevelt and Franklin D. Roosevelt, these two are the top 5 presidents of the America. Anyways, you should remember these factual information also, because sometimes you may be asked in UGC NET examinations the chronology of various important head of the states from all across the world. Like America, they can give you certain names and they can ask you to arrange it in ascending order or descending order, or something like that. They can ask you that this particular important deals, like New Deal, during whose regime these deals was signed, and something like that. So it is very necessary to understand, because always keep in mind that each individual is judged by his or her acts or decisions or policies which they had taken. Now coming back to the China, Zhou Enlai, as I told you, he was the Chinese premier under Mao Zedong between 1949 to 1976 till his death. Zhou Enlai is considered to be one of the greatest statesmen, one of the greatest diplomats of 20th century. Zhou Enlai was also instrumental in the Communist Party's rise to power, and later he consolidated the control over foreign policy, and he also helped in developing Chinese economy. So what is so important about Zhou Enlai is he was very exceptional personality. As Theodore Roosevelt once made a statement, or he wrote somewhere regarding diplomacy, he remarked, please, I quote Theodore Roosevelt. He remarked that if you speak softly and carry a big stick, you will go far. If you speak softly and carry a big stick, you will go far. And thousands of miles away and around half a century later, his principle, his idea, his statement is practiced by this Zhou Enlai. He practiced the message of Theodore Roosevelt. Now, we need to understand the approach between these two great leaders of China. One is Mao Zedong. Mao, he was instrumental in establishing the rule of Communist Party of China, and in October 1949, Communist Party of China, that is CPC, it was established. So Mao was the president also, and he was the chairman of that CPC, that is Chinese Communist Party Council. and this man Zhou Enlai is the premier, that is prime minister in under his regime. But these two men were actually instrumental in transforming or establishing the fundamental ideas of communism, and they established it. It is said that Mao preferred to exercise his power from out of the barrel of a gun, while Zhao preferred to reduce his opponents through word and gesture in the pursuit of national self-interest. Mao preferred to exercise his power from out of the barrel of a gun, while Zhou Enlai preferred to reduce his opponents through word and gesture in the pursuit of national self-interest. It is said and it is believed that Zhou Enlai, because he was in charge of foreign relations and he was also prime minister, and it is said that Zhao rarely used stick, and even if he used stick, only when all other means of persuasion failed. इट मीन्स कि समझाने बुझाने समझने बुझने का जब विकल्प समाप्त हो जाता था, देन ओनली ही यूज्ड दैट स्टिक. इट मीन्स ही द हार्डनेस, द हार्ड डिसीजंस ही टुक only when all the other options are exhausted or exploited by this man. Sorry for this technical problem. So one example can be cited when this American commander General Douglas MacArthur's armies crossed into North Korea. Zhao summoned the Indian ambassador in Beijing to deliver a message to the Americans. If the US troops cross the 38th parallel, we will intervene. He made a statement that if Americans cross this 30th parallel, this 30th parallel is the popular name given to the latitude line that roughly demarcates North Korea and South Korea. So the message of his delivery was both. It was subtle and its message was blunt also. Zhao could have thrown down these gauntlet in public but chose to give diplomacy a chance. Zhao डिप्लोमेसी के माध्यम से इस समस्या को सुलझाना चाहते थे, हालांकि अमेरिकन्स ने उस बात को उनके बात को नहीं वो मानते हैं और अमेरिका और नॉर्थ कोरिया के ऊपर अमेरिकन आर्मी बढ़ती है और युद्ध की स्थिति बनती है, युद्ध होता है. Then this first Indo-China War that took place in 1947 and it lasted until July 20, 1954. What is so important in this war, this first Indo-China War? Because Vietnam, that was the communist country who defeated France. That was a big event in the history of the world. In this Indo-China, first Indo-China